Cool.
The thing telling. Sound ready? Yes. Camera?
Camera speeds.
Okay. Danny, will you call action?
Okay. And action.
All right, thanks, Mrs. Danny.
All right, TJ.
How's it going?
Bye-bye. Take care.
I'm not doing anything for results. I'm bored by that thought process. I really am only doing things that sit at my table and go, tell me. And I go, okay. And then it might not even mean anything in my lifetime or ever in life, but it wants to get out. And I'm the person that's going to get that story out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Push. Push seeks to pose and explore interesting and relevant creator and process questions. Tell us who you are.
Hello, my name's April Audia. I am a New York transplant to Los Angeles. I am an actor, writer, director, filmmaker, creator, all around creative person. And I'm happy to be here.
April, was it a dream of yours to become a storyteller?
Yeah, it was. I think when I was younger and the time when I grew up, women became actresses. That was like your choice if you had this creative, desire in you. And I became an actress at a very young age. Came out to LA at 17, but people would always tell me, God, you're a storyteller, you're a storyteller. And I think we're both New Yorkers. I think coming from New York, you grow up with all storytellers, in the neighborhood, everyone's a storyteller. So I just thought when people said that, they were just like thinking about my New Yorkness. I didn't realize that I really was a storyteller, that I love to cultivate, tell a story, dig in. Went so far beyond my acting. And then as I got older, the industry changed. Women kind of got pushed a little further to the front of the line. I got a little braver and I started creating content and then writing plays. And then once I opened that valve up, it just can't be closed.
That's great. That's great. April, first though, tell us a little bit about, you said you came from LA. Why did you move so early? New York being also a hub of entertainment and actors and creators, whatnot. Why did you relocate at such an early age?
I think part of it was that I wanted to go away from where I was raised, and I was raised on Long Island in New York. And I wanted to kind of go, I think if I was raised in California, I probably would have gone to New York. So I think part of it was about like wanting to I had a sense of bravery in me that I wanted to go somewhere where no one knew me and I could kind of recreate a life for myself, always with the intent to go back to New York at some point. And now yes, and now I'm bi-coastal and I go back and forth. But it was really just to shed myself of who I was and become something new instead of being, I was raised in a big Italian family and it's kind of like, they pull you in. And so you kind of become, it's hard to break away from that, who you were created by them. And I needed to kind of go out and recreate who I was for me.
I understand. You wanted to find yourself in a way, for lack of a better description.
Yeah. Instead of having my thoughts and my stories all be funneled through my family, because for me, that was a very Italian thing growing up. Your thoughts are always funneled through, what will my mother think? What will my siblings think? What will my cousins think? My friends think? That's like the natural thing in that environment. And I wanted it to be, what do I think? And I had to literally go across the country at a time when there was no social media, nobody texts. We had to write letters. I mean, it's how long ago I'm going. So It really made me find out who I was as a person.
That's interesting. That's really, how brave. And you're only 17.
Yeah, I was 17 and I had $40. I just like to say I was crazy. I was crazy. It was crazy. And I got onto my first film when I was 18, which I was just watching the other day. And I thought, what is that girl doing? She had no business coming out here and doing any of this, but I just was, it was that youthful sense of, I don't care where I sleep. I don't care if I can eat. I don't care if I have to live on the street because I want something so bad. I don't care. God, there's a beauty in that. And you know what? It works out. It works out.
There is a beauty in it, and it's called passion.
Yeah.
That word has come up a couple times in our interviews. That's that's outstanding and also mind blowing that you had 40 bucks in your pocket. I don't know if my father would let me leave the house with 40 bucks in my
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah. Well, my
And
parents were divorced, so I had
well,
that.
and that a blessing for you maybe, and
Yeah.
certainly meaning the freedom, I guess. And
Yeah.
certainly I wouldn't have been able to move all the way to LA at that age. So wow, that's really great. Another question for you: where do your ideas come from?
I think my ideas are, I find my ideas are always based in kind of compassion and understanding, even if they're violent stories. And Long Island South Shore, that is the, where the what I created, where you and I had met, certainly had violence in it. And but at the end of that is always trying to get to like a sense of understanding and compassion. I feel like my stories come from as I'm trying to figure out life as I go along, then that's what I'm interested in writing about. Like wherever I am in my process, then a story kind of comes out of that.
It's interesting.
Mhm.
You mean what you're experiencing at the time?
Yeah, like whatever. Like there was I wrote a play about a year ago, and it was based on my dad, who was a World War II vet, who was very, very aggressive growing up with him, and so I was in a state of mind of like understanding and forgiveness and compassion. I have been in that state for a long time, but I finally put it down on paper, and it really was about like looking at life from his point of view, from his perspective, what it was to be this 18-year-old boy that went into the war, and everybody got killed because he was a belly gunner, and except for him, and the guilt he went through, and that's why he raged through our childhood. And it once I understood it from his point of view, it just like it changed everything in me. And I wrote the story. We ended up winning Best Drama at Short and Sweet Festival. And it's because I was in a complete like mindset of understanding and forgiveness and discovery of life from someone else's point of view. That was
Right.
personal. I can do it as an actor, but it's different when it's personal, you know.
Sure. That's fascinating, actually. And did you feel then, maybe a silly question, but did you then feel a sense of relief or
Yes. 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 Healed,
settling?
relieved. I could feel him saying thank you, because we all just want to be understood and seen. And one of the lines in it is I apologize to him and say, I'm sorry I made you the villain in my childhood, but it was just the easier thing to do. When really he was just a guy like everyone else, just trying to figure it out while he was traumatized with PTSD from head to toe. But who understood that in the 70s and the 80s?
Right. No one
No,
talks about it. Even now,
no.
we're trying to find our people are finding their way through it.
Yep. Yeah. So I would hear people sobbing by the end of the show and then just coming up to me and saying, I'm going home to call my mother. I haven't spoke to her in 3 years. It was something about me telling the story of his violence and then me being okay and forgiving him that made other people go, I can do that. And that was the best feeling of all. You know,
Sure.
that I thought this is really art. This is why we do it. This is actually why we're supposed to tell stories. So that doesn't happen like that all the time, but for that particular story, it served that purpose.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
That's terrific, April. I know you've have had a lot of success in LA as an actress, a lot of television and film. Are there any particular shows and things that you've worked on that you felt have been significant in developing you as an actor in this medium that has helped also you as a filmmaker? Sorry, it's a complex question.
No, it's not actually. Believe it or not, I've spent a portion of my career as a stand-in working on sitcoms and mostly sitcoms. And I've as a multicam sitcom stand-in, you run the shows and you run them, when the guest stars can't be there, the actors can't be there. And through that, I worked on some high level shows where I learned from the showrunners story structure. First of all, by getting a new script every week, and then by sitting there as they were like changing things and rehearsing things. And then I started to get the script every week and I began to change it. And I began to like think this is going to be dropped. This is going to be changed. And I would see, and I would get closer and closer and closer to the showrunners kind of thought.
So you could
That
kind of predict and anticipate.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
that's pretty
yep.
cool.
It's like I began to learn that person's comedy and I began to learn like how like I'm not going to say less is more because that's not always the case, but if it was a case of less is more or or a pause here or no pauses here, and I began to learn that, and then I also began to learn like how all the pieces of this TV world go together, not just the actor going in, but every single piece, camera, sound, anything, the grips, and how everybody creates a story. So that's actually because as actors, we don't get to spend like not like lawyers and then we're in court every day. We get to spend more time on stage. So stage wise, I had learned a lot and could because I spent a lot of time on stage. But in film and TV, you're here, you're gone, you're here, you're gone.
Right.
It's hard to learn when you're here and gone. But when you come in a position where you're performing, which I was always performing as a stand-in, but you're there all the time, that it was like going to, school for it. It was amazing. And
Sure.
when I got
It's like
stopped,
getting it.
when I stopped doing it, I started booking more sitcoms because I knew how to do it because it's a formula and I knew how to do it.
That's right. I mean, I was going to say it's like an advanced education and TV acting,
Yep.
film acting, the
On your
whole
feet.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, that's terrific. And on that note, we have heard that you were just awarded something very special. Why
I
don't you share a little bit about that?
So speaking of that, I just out of the blue, I was nominated for Best Multicam Female Stand-in, and I ended up winning.
And the blurry goes to April.
And it was just like, and when I was there,
Name of the award. What's the name of the award?
so the awards are called the Blurries, and it's the LA Background Actors Awards, but the awards are called the Blurries, which I don't know why makes me giggle, but it does. But it's
It is
not
funny.
It
It's
is
funny.
funny.
I mean, it is kind of a funny. I was wondering where it came from.
Yeah.
So
And it's not just the so it's awards for background, it's award for ensemble show background, like a Law and Order, if they had the whole ensemble. It's for stand-ins, multicam, single cam, and it's also for ADs and casting directors and PAs. So they all get nominated. So it's also a very good place to you network with people. But I will say I probably knew almost every single person in that room. And that was like
wow.
yeah, it was an amazing night. And I said to my friend, I'm coming back here every year to support because these people are really, I was looking up today a fact that SAG has 120,000 members.
Shoot.
And 120,000 members, we know the small amount that make their health insurance and pension and those people in the room do it. Like they hustle. They're not all actors. Some of them just like doing standing in or background, and some of them are like me, where they're actors and they're doing this as that's their, their day job in a way. And it worked out for me because I knew all these ADs and showrunners, and I could come and go for auditions and things like that. So yeah, and then I ended up winning this year I went for Best Multicam Female Stand-in, and it was the best. And as I said in the speech that I did the day before, a show that I had worked on as a guest star had just won a Critics' Choice Award. So like on literally the day before that show won a Critics' Choice, and the next day then I won a Blurry. And I was like, that's Hollywood. That's show business.
That's a beautiful story. Congratulations. What an achievement, especially out of, I think there were 5 or 6 women nominated.
Yeah, there were 5 of us. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
testament to your dedication, and you've been doing it for so long with this,
Yeah.
in the system. Well, let's talk about Long Island South Shore first, and then get to some more specific questions. What can you share about that? How that started? What would you like to share about that whole experience and where it all came from, and then your trajectory with it?
It started actually as it was a thesis film for my creative partner, Kat Therese. It was a thesis film that she was doing. It was a small short. It was maybe about 10 minutes. She did a beautiful job on it. And it was called Shades of Levittown, which is a town on Long Island. and I shot it, met Kat, and I think I shot for one day, and I had that reel, and I
Sorry,
would
when you say you shot it, meaning you were the
when
actor in
I
that?
was in it as an actor and went
Okay,
to, yeah, she shot it, yeah, and I was in it just as actor for hire.
great. Okay.
And thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, we just assume that I just assume everyone knows the in between of my thoughts. And and then I put that on my reel. I put pieces of it on my reel. And every time a casting director or I remember a showrunner asked me for my reel, they all would come back and go, "What's the story with that one woman in this piece that you have?" And I got asked it so many times that I was like, "Huh."
Because it's
And
so fantastic, is why.
thank you. Thank you. And then I thought I felt like the world was beginning to change where women weren't just being seen anymore as like, yes, dear, because the character I played, she's very flawed. She's also violent. She's also a mother. She's all the things. And so I went to Kat, who again, we were basically strangers. And I said to her, how would you feel if we wrote this into a web series? Because web series were just beginning.
So
And
what
I said,
year was this? What year was
so this
this?
is going back to 2013. This is going
Okay.
back to 2013. And I had had a friend who did a web series the year before when it was at its infancy stages. And I thought, oh, I could do this. So that was always in my mind. I had known so much from being on film sets. I thought I could do this because I realized there was also things that he maybe didn't understand because he wasn't a film person, and even things like coverage that I just understood because I'd been spent so much time on sets.
Sure,
And
sure.
so I thought, so I went to Kat. We met for a coffee, and I said, no, we're total strangers. But I said, but how would you feel if we created this web series and took that story and blew it out to like a full series? And she said, I'm in. And we just kind of went moment by moment, wrote out the script. And we would Google things
Awesome.
like it was like literally by the seat of our pants, not understanding, having no idea what was around the corner. It took us 3 years to do it because we would just steal time. And we have a lot of locations. We weren't one of those web series where everything's shot in the living room. Like there's a lot of that, which is smart. People do it in a weekend. We were all over the place. And so
Right.
so each episode would be like 7 locations.
So,
And
so can I ask, April, just to clarify, so you said it took you 3 years to do one season, and how
yes,
many episodes was that? Break that down for us so
it
we
was six
understand.
seasons. So it was 6 episodes. It was one season of 6 episodes. They were probably only about 6 or 7 minutes each. And from writing the script to shooting to production to post-production to, to
Mm.
then, find getting the music, editing. There was one scene out of the beach where it was so windy. We had to do ADR, and we were Googling basically how to do ADR, like we were in a sound booth but trying to figure out how to use the equipment. And we just finally, it took 3 years because everybody was working for the passion of it. So who was off of
Sure.
work, our cinematographer would get a camera from work because he worked at a really nice camera place here. I won't say which one because he would basically take them on the weekend. And um and then finally we were done and it was edited and it was locked and ready to go. And then we really didn't, again, that was only now 20 like 16. It still was kind of the Wild West, as I know you know. And then
Sure, everything, and though, however, an exciting time.
yes,
So
of
kind of
course.
figuring things out, navigating things, and I think that it also during that period, the the medium, the access, the presentation, festivals, everything that's follows was being figured out as well. It kind of developed,
100%.
which was really kind
100%.
of exciting, I think, in a
I
way.
do too, because I said to Kat, this is like when you watch silent films and you think, I wish I was there from the beginning. I said, this is like one of those things where we started while it was starting and we grew as it was growing with it. So we were going along as it was going along. And then again, this is 2016, as I said. And when we got done with it, we were like, now what? And everything was now what? And then I Googled what's the best festival to put in a web series, and up popped the sun. Remember, it said the Sundance of web festivals is LA Web Fest, run by Michael Jacques. I was like, okay, I submitted it to one festival because I did not know what I was doing. I didn't even do like Film Freeway. I just submitted and, wrote out the whole application, submitted it. And I think it was 3 months later, I found out that we had gotten in and we had gotten 5 nominations. It was over at Sony Studio. It was like, a month later. Went
Fantastic.
went
Fantastic.
to went to Sony, like didn't even understand, and I ended up winning Best Actress. And it was like, and Michael Ajacque emailed me like 2 days later and said, I just want you to know,
So great.
make a season 2. He said, it's this story. I've never seen a story with a female, again, because we're going back years, where the female is so violent and angry, yet something about her we're drawn to. So he said, write a season 2, and then we did, and we were doing that when the pandemic hit, in a nutshell.
Oh, you were doing the season 2.
Season 2, yeah, we have a whole full season 2. We were 80% done. The last day we shot was March 8th, and we were going to meet the following Sunday of 2020. And we had been shooting every weekend, and we were going to meet the following Sunday. And then that Friday the 13th, I was actually on set. We got sent home early. I called Kat and she's like, I don't know. Should we film this weekend? What's going on? I said, I don't know. They're shutting down set, something about a virus and blah, blah, blah. And we were like, well, let's play it by ear. And that was it. And then everyone moved away except for me and the DP. Kat moved back to New York. The girl that played my daughter moved to Africa. I mean, everybody was just scattering. So we have most of season 2. I had turned it into a truncated season 1.5 so I could keep doing the festivals.
That's great. And I remember that. And I thought that was a really brilliant way to navigate the post-pandemic time while keeping your content going and fresh and keeping the ball in the air, so to speak.
That's right. That's right. And it kept me in, and we won tons of festivals. I directed a lot of season 1.5, but that was going to be season 2. And we were winning. We won Best Director, we won Best Writer, we won Best Ensemble. We were winning all over the place.
I remember, because I remember accepting your award for you in New Jersey, right?
As I was, and I just have to tell because this is about women supporting women. As I was homesick, like recovering from basically almost dying. You accepted the award for me in Jersey. And I think you're the one who even said, like, I was so out of it that I was like, oh yeah, okay. And you were like, do you want me to, I'll do it for you. Like, I'll be there for you, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I ended up winning. And I just remember laying in my bed, in my den, sick, couldn't breathe, couldn't move, and getting the text from you, April, oh my God, you won Best Director. And honestly, it could make me cry because it's something so simple. And yet it just made me think like everything's going to be okay. My mother had just passed away. I was very, very ill. My husband and I were both hospitalized. And at that moment, something as simple as that, just taking a camera and running around town and editing your shots together, creating a story, and then having you say, you won, just made me think, okay, like there's going to be something at the end of this that's going to be out of this pain and this grief.
Well,
so
it was a pleasure, and I was happy to be able to do it for you, and I wanted to, and it was something that other people have, if you can't get to some place, they've offered
done it for
as
each
well.
other.
Yeah, I mean, with Sally, I represented Sally at a number of different festivals because of the pandemic, or because she's in Australia and she couldn't make it to certain places. So, but I was thrilled to be able to do it, and congratulations again. That was a big one. What are your current challenges or obstacles in creating in this climate, or your climate in particular? That could be financial, industry access, changes in your personal life, political arena. What are you experiencing now that you didn't really have to deal with doing the first season of Long Island South Shore?
Well, one of the biggest things for Long Island South Shore in particular in creating that is and having almost finished season 2 and not completing the last 20% is that, like I said, everybody moved. So that's like something that, it's one thing I talk to Kat and say, hey, maybe you can come back here for a couple of weeks and we can finish it. But, all that's easier said than when someone lived around the block. The challenge is that she moved away, and that the Melanie, Chelsea, who played my daughter Melanie, she moved away. And that, it just was easier when, it was already hard enough to find schedules to work, but a lot harder when people aren't here. So that's a challenge, but I started writing other things. I started writing a play that I did. I just wrote a pilot that I want to shoot. And it's just kind of the pandemic in LA, like New York, really we shut down. Other parts of the country weren't like that. New York and LA, I mean, we shut down for like 2 years, and it kind of got everyone in this frame of mind of like, whew. And so that's been a challenge, just kind of finding our footing again to like be a part of life and kind of like get back into things. And although I do that and I'm always very busy with stuff, self-creation is different because it really takes real self-motivation and it's all you, it's all on you.
Right.
And I think I just got out of that. Like I said, I've done it in doing the play. I did the play last year, but in filmmaking, it's like that. It's a lot to get a crew together, make it all happen, post production, all of that. I just kind of like the pandemic just kind of put a halt to it, and I'm trying to churn those fires back up.
I feel like that you're not alone in that, and that's happened to more people that I speak to than not. And
Mhm.
navigating the way back, finding the way back it's a journey. I know it
Yeah,
has been for me. It's just not easy to get back to where you were, and
yeah,
people have moved away. The
yeah.
industry has shifted. There's financial things that were not the same as they were pre-pandemic, so it's
Yeah.
tighter. We've talked, a lot of people have talked a lot about budgetary restrictions, constraints, not having access to funds, that kind of thing. As much as it seemed to be more flowing and easier before. So
Yeah.
you're not
Also,
you're not
Caris,
alone in
we
that.
were on a roll. Like you would inspire me, I would inspire you, Sally would inspire you, you would inspire this one. And so it's like I was like, oh, Caris is shooting. I'm going to go out and shoot. Like, we're because I wanted to go shoot because I wanted to then go to all the festivals and see you. So it was like all of that, and it kind of because it kind of everybody kind of like went into their shell. It's almost like that part of it also kind of disappeared where like, well, let's do this so we can meet up at Jersey Festival, meet up at whatever it was, and that. So it's
Right,
all those things. It's all those things that really came out of the world shutting down.
right, right. And then now that it has come back up again, what are you finding less difficult or even easy to accomplish in your storytelling process?
That I have a right to tell a story and that I have something to say. And I did not believe that when I started it, when I really started writing like 12 and 13 years ago. It was almost like writing and then like, what do you think? That kind of a thing. Now, I honestly don't care what anyone thinks. I'm not talking about like story structure and things that are those things. I'm talking about just in my ideas. I don't care because these ideas need to come out of me and be alive before I'm gone. So
That's a
they have a
great answer. I'm sorry, I have to not to interrupt you, but that's a really fresh answer that you don't need permission, and your voice is so much stronger because of Long Island South Shore and the experiences you've had and the recognition. Am I right?
Yeah, and it's just that the stories in me now have a purpose bigger than me. When I told the story about my dad, the purpose of that story was bigger than me. It was about me finding, that place of healing in me, but really it was so much bigger. And I thought, and so that's why I those stories need to come out now, and I don't need anyone's permission to tell them.
There you go.
No.
Boom.
Yeah, girl's grown up.
That's right. You can take the girl out of Long Island, but you can't take that Long Island out of the
Right,
girl, right?
that's right. A girl has grown up.
It's a great place to get to, April, the level of confidence and knowing that you belong. And talking with other creators about it, we've discussed at times more of an ease, like an ebb and flow of the like ocean waves. I keep saying sometimes you have to push, sometimes you wait for something to come to you, sometimes the stories and the ideas are easier, sometimes you have to push yourself to be motivated.
Yeah.
Do you find that too? Do you find it's a give and take,
Yeah,
especially in Hollywood?
yeah, I'm a naturally motivated person. I always have been. But it's where I lay my motivation that matters. Do you know? It's like I can be sometimes I have to be motivated in different areas. And it's really for me, it's finding the thing that brings me happiness. It's finding the place because there's a million things you can do in LA creatively. There's stuff going on here all the time. But is it stuff that's making me happy? So it's really finding where I want to put my time. And I think this just comes with age, where I want to put my time and my energy and my soul because every moment really matters. And I think after going through the pandemic and COVID and my mother dying, it really kind of crystallizes that every moment I'm here matters. So I have to make sure what I'm doing, I'm enjoying and not just doing it because, oh, it may win at a festival or it may win a. Everything was always like you were trying to do something for the result of what it could be. At least that's how like Hollywood is raised. And now I don't care what the results are. I don't care if three people see it. I do not care. I just want to do what I want to do. And that I think came from seeing how the world can just go in a minute. And I just thought, all right, then I got to live it for myself.
That's a
That's
real shift in perspective. I mean, that's and thank you for that answer. It's very candid and also very revealing. It's a actually a great perspective shift after having gone through what you went through. We talked about the focus of your subjects and things changing a bit. Anything more about how the subjects and focus have changed over the past few years with the changes in your own life? Anything to add to that? You did touch on it without me even asking.
I think it's the ones that stick. You know, ideas come and then there are ideas that come, they're like kids and they sit at the table and look at you like, when's dinner? And then there are ideas that just kind of run by and you're like, they're not really. Maybe I'll see them on the playground later. But then you look and the one idea is sitting there like, feed me. And so then my attention goes to that idea. Like I have a couple of things now that I'm doing and they're complete opposites in storytelling, in genre, in tone. But both these ideas want my attention. And so that's what I go to. I go to what's ever calling me. I don't create something because it's going to like be the thing that's working. Again, I'm not doing anything for results. I'm bored by that thought process. I really am only doing things that sit at my table and go, tell me. And I go, okay. You know, and then it might not even mean anything in my lifetime or ever in life, but it wants to get out. And I'm the person that's going to get that story out.
Can, that's fascinating. Can you tell me a little bit more about you're bored by that thought process of something that you're creating something for success only? I'm curious about that.
I'm just like success to me is so personal. And and the success that I grew up seeing was created in like a publicity office here in Hollywood. And it's like it's not really real. It's not based on anything. It was based on us wanting to like run after something. But the idea of that is it's something we're never going to catch. And certainly we know that because there are many successful people that have then just like, you know, walked away, taken their own life. You think like, my God, this person had everything that, you know, we thought we wanted as kids, and yet why are they walking away from it? And I would notice things like that. And then I realized at some point, oh, this was just something to write down for the, you know, the papers and to make it seem like life was like, this is what now you realize now too, actors I grew up loving were barely making $400 a week, like on TV shows. Back then, TV didn't pay. The show would like famous shows would wrap after 5 years and all the actors were broke. So it was, I just felt like, oh, we were just being like given a whole like load of BS. So then I started defining what success is, and it didn't have to do with any of those other things. And once I defined it, then I could live my life successfully for what it was that I'm here for and what I'm supposed to do. So that's so chasing a result to me is boring. It's a boring old way of thinking. I am chasing the experience. I'm chasing the communication, the connection,
I
being
love
with
it.
people. Yes. And whatever comes at the end of that, whether it gets an award or just sits on my shelf, what I love is the experience I would have in the connection, because you can't take that history away from me. What we experience together within that creative process. That's what I'm interested in.
That's so empowering. It's talk about live in the moment, live for the moment, live for what you love, live in your passion. That's so empowering, April. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks. Takes a long time to get there. It's not like I woke up with that yesterday. It takes a lot of starting out a certain way, thinking we have to achieve success, not feeling valuable if we don't get that audition, going through and sticking with it, staying here in Hollywood, sticking with it enough to where you begin to get smarter and smarter and smarter, and you see things clearer and clearer, and your creativity then wins, which is we start out with creativity. The whole system squashes it down, and if you stick around long enough, the creativity comes back up and wins. But it's different.
Two things. What do you mean by the system squashes it down?
Well, so I came out here as this creative soul, right? I did plays when I was a kid and I wanted to be an actor and, all that stuff and came here 17 years old. And then all I was ever told is what wasn't right about me. Do you know?
Mm,
So it's like, you're not enough this, you're not enough that, you're too much this, you're too much that. And so every once in a while, a part would squeeze through, but that was just luck that I finally got booked a role, everything else. So after a while, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this. And your creativity kind of like leaves you because it's not even your creativity is not even anymore a part of the journey. It's about, am I tall enough, blonde enough, skinny enough, not accented enough, whatever
exactly.
that would be.
I so can relate to that. It's why I wrote Pepper. It's why I wanted to write the character that I wanted to write because of what I was not auditioning for and not seeing represented across the
Right.
board. But I understand that. I
Yes.
understand that whole identification with what's happening and why am I not why am I not in it?
Yep.
Okay, I've got to take the ropes and write something for myself. And
Yep.
on that note, anything else to add on that? I don't want to cut you off.
No, just that you either then die internally by being beaten down by it, or you go, oh, is there another door I can open? And that's where I feel like you and I met. We both met opening that other door and saying, and no coincidence, Caris, that the role I wrote for myself in my 40s won me Best Actress in this national global because I was finally getting to do what I'm capable of. That again was just, never really being expressed. So
Right on.
that's, yeah.
Right on. I hear that.
Door number two. Door
And
number
and
two, kids.
that's right. Right. And me too. And understand and totally feel that. So bravo, brava.
For both of us. For both of us.
True. Thank you. Thank you. And on that note, relative to working and acting and writing, how do you cultivate your talent?
I'm a big believer, and I always have been since I was 17 years old, to never stop acting, never stop doing what you love. And now it's also writing and filmmaking and different things have been added. I will constantly be doing things, whether I'm in a class and I'm working on stuff in class. Right now I'm in a play. This is my third play since January. I closed a play in January, started the one the next day, closed that, started this the next day. So I'm, becoming better because I'm memorizing tons of lines. I'm discovering, moments and subtext. And so it's always being active. If you're not doing a play, I believe go out there and do whatever. Do low budget films, do student films, do web series, do whatever. Don't just wait for like the big stuff, or you're going to work once every 2 years. And within a decade of your life, you're going to have like seriously worked maybe 5, 6, 7 times tops. That to me is not a creative life. So it's to get out there and always keep mixing in with people and doing stuff. That's how I keep it
Well said.
fresh.
What a great way to approach the craft continually, and what a great answer. And you have been kind of revisiting some recent work and success. Can you tell us a little bit about a few things that you've been
Yeah. I'm sure you're alluding to my Instagram posts.
I am, because we're
You
going to
are,
put some of
okay.
those clips here.
Okay. So, I have a tendency to just not ever stop and really look at what I've done. I'll do it, I give it my all, I commit 100%, and then I move on to the next thing. And that's just kind of my personality. But then I feel like I wasn't really like, it's like watching your kids grow up. You're so busy trying to help them grow up that you're not really watching them grow up. And it's like, I went back and I started posting things on Instagram and revisiting because I've done a lot of work and I just don't give myself credit for that because it's always on to the next.
Or
And
the time to really celebrate,
oh, yeah,
that.
no time to celebrate, no time whatsoever. And I feel like I started putting up, and I was even saying there are things that I've done pretty recently that people were like, "Oh, I didn't know you did that." And I'm like, "That's my fault because I just do it and go home." And so it's like I finally decided and it's a little uncomfortable, but again, I'm really doing it for myself. I'm not, if people want to comment and say nice things, all that's like lovely. And of course, I love that, but I'm really doing it because I'm sharing my life my creative life with mostly myself. It's almost like it's a little reminder to me. And but it's nice too that I'm having other people reach out and comment about my work and things they didn't even realize I did. But it's really for me, I'm looking back and reminding myself, like, give yourself credit for all the work you have done. And then here's little snippets, and that's what I've been putting up.
I think it's fantastic. I think, and if we don't celebrate ourselves as artists, who is going to?
That's right. And I would love
Like
if
you
you did
said.
it too. I would. I would love
Oh,
if you did it too. I love seeing people's work. I really do. And especially if I'll be like, I didn't know Caris did whatever it could be. Like, I didn't know she did that. And then it excites me to see that. So I like it in other people. And I decided to I decided to try to do things for myself that I like in other people. And I like when people put up their work and celebrate themselves. And I thought, I'm going to start celebrating myself.
it's a great idea. I never really thought of doing posting clips or past work, or it never would really. I mean, Pepper, of course, is all over, and I have done quite a bit of that. And then you get a play, or you get another, small role in television or something. But to really go through and highlight it and give
you
yourself
realize how much you've done.
another bow. Yeah, it can be a great time.
That's right. That's right. We deserve it, right? Why not? We deserve it. It's not
Do.
again, it's not for anyone but for ourselves. It's what is filling up our own spirit and our own souls to keep us healthy and to keep us from feeling like, which this
Well,
industry can do to you.
you can feel downtrodden and it's a drudgery, and like you said, nothing lifting you up. So it has to start with you. So I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you. How is the creation to full production process similar to literally giving birth?
Well, I've never given birth, so I can't speak from that perspective. But I can tell you it starts again, just like with a little twinkle in your eye in the same way. And then it becomes a more of an idea, and then it becomes a story, and then it's a written story, and then it's like breaking it down into shots, and then it's going out and doing them, then it's putting the pieces of all those shots together like a puzzle, then rearranging things and editing and see what goes smooth, and then adding like a little soundtrack to it, and all of those things, and then finally you're like, here's my product. So it is kind of like there's a whole like kind of a thought about it, a twinkle in your eye, an incubation period, and then here we are. And so it has that same kind of feeling of that. And I would think when you birth a child, then the child continues to grow, and your series, although it doesn't change once you put it out there, it changes in the sense of maybe what it means to you, or you look back on it with pride, or then maybe how someone else is affected by it that has never seen it, and sees it for the first time. And it also then gives you kind of like you feel a little bit of street cred. Like I did that. I birthed that
Right,
kid. You know what
right,
I mean? And I can go
right.
on and do something else. Like that kid, that first kid made me go, whoa. Women say that like until you birth a child, like you never really you're a different person. And so that to me is like doing Long Island South Shore changed me in ways, within myself where I'd look at that. And I also noticed it changed the way people even responded to me, people in the business. Even though this was something I created on my own, people were like, whoa, because everyone talks about doing something, but not a lot of people go all the way through and do it. So it definitely gave me like street cred, and then that made me proud. And then it made me go, oh, I can be brave and take another step and another step and another step. And it all started from that one kid.
There you go. You called it the kid. How do you relate to this word, push? What can you say about it?
That's where we will spend 80% of our lives is in the push. 20% is in the glory. 20% is in the maybe the creative process when it's all coming to you and it's coming out of you and it feels magical. The other 80% to make it come to life, to make it become something and be something in the world. You are pushing through the whole thing. Budget, casting, crew, and all the way to getting it done. And you have to embrace the push, and you have to understand that it's 80% push, 20% glory. And if you want anything more cushy than that, this is not the job for you.
Cushy. There's no cushy. I don't think
There's no
there's
cushy and pushy. No cushion push.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. April, anything else you want to add or talk about with your creative process, where you're going,
Just
where you're headed,
I would
any
say if I'm
topics?
going to add anything, it's just that creativity is truly what saves your soul. And I can say that if anyone young is listening, if you're questioning a creative life, it is what will save your soul over and over and over again. And even though, and it doesn't have to be big and giant. Like I said, I was laying in bed grieving the death of my mother when when you texted me and said you won or called. I can't remember now. I feel like you might have called and said you won. And that was my creativity somehow being validated in the world in New Jersey Web Fest. And that kind of gave me like a in a world that seemed like I was suffocating in. So I would say to anyone young, creativity will save your soul. So if that's the job, if that it's hard, but if you just dance with it, at the end of it, it'll be the best life you can ever live.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's a beautiful way to end. I have so appreciated and enjoyed our relationship, our friendship, our relationship as colleagues, as creators, as women in the
Mhm.
industry, in the world,
Yep.
in two different cities that we can compare and talk about.
Mhm.
And I treasure you. Thank
I
you.
feel that way. Thank you. And I just want to say too, Caris, it was your open spirit when I met you in at Jersey Web Fest, and I think it was 2017 or 18. It was like 8 or 9 years ago. And we came out of the show, the screenings, and you just buzzed by me in your New York way, and you just buzzed by me and you said, "You're good." Boom, and off you were. And the hell is that? And so, and it was just like you were so bang bang, and I thought, oh, I like this one. So it was that open
I don't
spirit.
mean to sound arrogant. I think maybe I was heading someplace, or maybe you might have been
I
talking
think
to
you were
someone.
heading to the step and repeat, so you were
Oh,
trying to get there, and but but you were gonna make sure you let me know. You were like, "You're good," and then you just like kept going, and I just like it was just, but it was like an open honesty that I was so like, "Wow, oh, I loved that we were supporting each other, and you just buzzing by me. You could have just buzzed by me, but you didn't. You took the moment to stop and let me know that what you thought. So I
oh,
appreciate that, and I appreciate you.
oh, thank you. And likewise. We had, I mean, very much so, opinions and thoughts and on my work and feedback and everything. It's invaluable. Many women have been talking about in these push interviews the importance of community and
Mhm.
being able to have each other's backs, to be able to support, uplift, pick each other up when one person is down, and
Yeah.
celebrate and applaud each other and recognize each other in a way that is true, is genuine, is sincere, is not looking for something else, but just
Right.
totally elevating each other. So
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
great. We will be looking for more of your work as you journey forward as an actor, creator, playwright,
Yep.
filmmaker.
Mhm.
And to everyone else, thank you so much again for tuning in to another edition of Push, where we celebrate female filmmakers and the story behind the stories. Thank you.